Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wallace Hartley Presents the podcast.
The only podcast for dads by dads.
Yeah, we're going with that this week?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Glen Lamont.
And my name is Harj.
Just the Harj.
Just
I've
Harj.
said this before. Like Elvis, like Sting, like
Madonna.
Who's that? Who's the
Oprah.
weird chick with
Barack.
No. The singer, and she wears like the blonde wig.
Dido.
Dido?
No. The one
from the Chandelier. Chandelier is the name of the song. Black and white kind of wigs and.
Fucking, I don't know.
You don't know.
There's a lot of one name. You know, it takes some fucking balls to do one name.
It does.
Yeah.
But you're doing it for a different reason. Because you don't want people to actually know who you are.
I am super. Oh fuck! I'm wearing this hat.
Oh, okay. I wasn't going to mention it, but
I am super concerned. Actually, people have been getting.
I'm sorry, I can't stop staring.
What?
At an Indian guy wearing a "Make America Great Again."
Should I wear my Hindus for Trump T-shirt?
No, please don't.
Okay, but I'm not really. Maybe I am. I don't know. I'm super concerned though. You know, It's like people are being not just canceled; they're being scrubbed and deleted. It's like you say the wrong thing one time, you are fucking a piece of shit, and
but
and I at some point hope to have some meaningful employment in the mental health and addictions field again.
Yeah.
After school's done, and
I mean, you can obviously tell.
So why the fuck am I doing this podcast?
You can tell that I've given up.
Yes.
Maybe I'm purposely doing this.
You are trying to sabotage me.
No, I'm trying to sabotage myself.
Invariably, something that I say here...
Is it going to come back to bite you in the ass?
Although that would mean that this podcast was heard by more than one person.
Exactly.
So it would be a little bit of success.
So either way, 6 of one, half dozen the other. But what you were going to say about the cancel thing?
Yeah.
So it has gotten extreme. It has gotten to the point where...
You're a racist!
Yeah. And a lot of it came about... Now it's about racism, but before that it was the Me Too movement.
Mm-hmm.
And I just read a thing today. Apparently Katy Perry is being accused by 2 people of sexual harassment. And they're saying it's a very double standard because nobody did shit about, and they're still not doing anything about it.
There is a classic South Park episode about this.
Is there?
Where there's a school teacher and she's sexually harassing a young boy, and the police go to investigate it, and when they hear that it's a very, very attractive teacher harassing the little French Canadian boy with the bubbly mouth, they're like, nice.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought when you said right there, Katy Perry is sexually harassing men. I'm like, why not me? Like, please, women. Like, oh, that's hot. That's even fucking hotter.
You're just going to get us all in trouble here.
Okay, but hold on. Have you seen Katy Perry?
Yes, I have.
She is a beautiful, voluptuous woman. I would be honored,
I guess,
to be sexually harassed by Katy Perry. And as a married man, I think my wife would be flattered if I was sexually harassed by Katy Perry.
Well, yeah, probably. I'm not overly impressed with her as an artist, but who cares about? Anyways, what I was getting at was the cancel culture. You can actually, you can just like, it's a very white thing to do.
It's a very piece of shit thing to do. Pretty much what it says is you have to have within your head and your heart have the right thoughts for all time. Because if at one point you express something that is touchy or not okay by today's standards, you're a piece of shit.
But it's also just an easy way for people to go, I don't want to deal with that.
It's low level dialogue.
Do you know what I mean?
It's fucking low level dialogue.
There's a lot happening right now with everything that's going on with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and everybody else who's been murdered by the police. And part of the dialogue that's happening right now is a lot of black people are saying, you know what? It's not our fucking job to educate you people. Like, don't be so fucking lazy. And you can't just get away with posting a meme on Facebook or some meaningful shit on Instagram. Like, educate yourself and figure out what the fucking problem is and fix it. Because it's not our problem, it's yours, right? So that's one side of things with the cancel culture. The other side is there's a lot of comics. Louis C.K. being one of them. And just recently, Joe Rogan.
Bro joking.
Yeah, because of a thing that Joey Diaz said, and there's tape of Joe Rogan laughing at it because he was talking about getting sexual favors. Joey Diaz
from girls back in the day, so they get in the club, and then Joe Rogan's laughing, so he's a piece of shit.
Well, but here's the thing, right? I know a ton of comics who are like very bro dude, and they're lazy. They're lazy as fuck. And it pisses me off when they invoke the names of people like Lenny Bruce and Richard Pryor and all those who went before us to, to have the freedom of speech that we do on stage. And, they will pick like pandering to the lowest common denominator, picking the fucking low-hanging fruit. And then when somebody goes, hey, man, that's not cool and it's not funny, they're like, oh, dude, are you triggered? Oh, I'm so sorry to fucking offend you. When in actual fact is like, it's not funny. It's not a funny joke. You're a shitty writer. And so there's a lot of people who hide behind that.
But I think within this situation, it's like, people are out there recording fucking thousands of hours of just shit talk.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you become habituated to the camera sometimes, where you're not even fucking cognizant of the fact that there's people watching you. So people are just having a conversation, and within those fucking millions and trillions of hours, you're gonna find lots of shit that's fucking offensive. I think that Joey Diaz came out and said that he was a piece of shit for doing that. You know what I mean?
But he's an example of, he's a guy that I'm like, how did this guy ever become a fucking comic?
He's funny, man. He's just fucking dirty and fucking crude. You know what I mean? That's an edge of comedy.
I guess, yeah. But to me, edgy people were like I said, Lenny Bruce, Bill Hicks. Mm-hmm. Bill Hicks talked about at a time when talking about these kind of issues that we talk about on this show all the time was not cool.
Yeah.
But Bill Hicks was there doing it. He was a part of a group of guys from mostly Texas that they called the Outlaw Comics, mm-hmm. because Sam Kinison was one of them as well. But yeah, to me, if you're going to be edgy and shit, be a good writer and be funny.
Yeah.
But like just throwing shit out there going, and this girl was sucking my knob, and it's not funny. It's just,
I think, I mean, really what it is, it's nastiness. Joe Rogan's going to make $100 million from Spotify, well, and it's pretty much what it was as a takedown of Joe Rogan for getting paid. I mean, it's
and the other thing too is,
that's the thing. It's like anyone who is achieving heights, it's like all of a sudden everyone becomes a fucking super sleuth detective to dig through their past to find something to fucking shit on them.
I know.
Like, and if that's the case, we're fucked, because I have done so much weird, despicable shit in my fucking life.
Let me tell you something. When it comes to most of the stuff that I disagree with and shit that pisses me off and hypocrisy, in my drinking days, done it all and then some. Mm-hmm. One of the first radio shows that I was a part of back in the 80s, I look back on it now and I'm like, oh, there is some seriously fucking cringe-worthy shit that I wrote. Mm-hmm. I'm talking racist, sexist, homophobic, like you name it. And that was just stuff that was like actually okay to be, on commercial mm-hmm. radio. But yeah, some of the shit that I've done. If you ever wanted to go digging around, it's like, skeletons in the closet. It's mm-hmm. fucking skeleton convention in there, So yeah, I agree. It's a slippery slope. I'm all for calling out things like what I want to see called out is serious. It's like you were talking about last week. You talked about being pissed that Jagmeet Singh threw out the word racist because you take that very seriously.
Yeah, that's
and it shouldn't be used flippantly.
No.
And I am the same.
It's going to lose its meaning.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm the same when it comes to calling out perceived injustices. As opposed to real injustices, where we live in a country where 1% of the nation controls 90% of the fucking wealth. People living in third world poverty, all kinds of shit. Like that's the kind of stuff. Yes, I want to call that out.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this earlier. You were mentioning, it's like there was I don't know where you heard this. It's like if the poor white people got together with the poor black people and actually talked to each other, and that goes here if poor white people talk to poor brown people, talk to poor red people, talk to poor yellow people, and actually talk to each other. Yeah. It's like all the perceived differences would melt away, and then realize that. But we far more in common.
But we know that is that's very purposeful, and that started in North America, anyways, with the 13th Amendment and abolition. When they realized that, well, first there was two things with the 13th Amendment. One, we've talked about this before, was that it's like, hey, you're free now. But they put in there, unless, of course, you committed crime. Well, all of a sudden, everything became a crime if you were black. And then second of all, at that time, they realized, it's like, okay, so, eventually people are going to clue in that we have all the money and all the land and we're screwing everybody. So, if the poor white people ever talked to the poor black people, we're fucked. So we need to consistently drive a wedge. And they have not stopped driving that wedge.
It's like a divide and conquer approach that you...
all that shit. I mean, it's
British imperialists use and that every major power uses when it's doing counterinsurgency work.
And who loves identity politics more than white liberals? They love that shit, man.
They like it too. I don't like it.
No, neither do I.
I think it ignores class distinction, which is more important.
And that is exactly it.
I've told you this before. It's like you want to feel less oppressed, get rich. You know what I mean? When you have money, all of a sudden you feel a lot less fucking oppressed. And I'm sure that's not the case for everyone. People get pulled over based on race, but in general, being well off in the country of Canada as a colored person, in my experience, has been pretty fucking smooth.
Because I've told you this before, that even when I was at my lowest, when my addiction was at its worst, and I was homeless half the time and shit like that. But even then, I still got treated better as a white male, as a straight white male, whether it would be by the police or anybody else in authority, than did other people in my position who happened to be people of color, right? So I even then, even as a low bottom
I'm talking fucking dirtbag. Like we're talking real low bottom dirtbag.
Even then, as a white male, I still had privilege. So it's fucked. Like that's the shit that needs to change, right?
Yeah.
And it is all about class for sure.
Yeah. I just want to let you know something. It's like, that when my family immigrated here, we knew that this was a white country.
Then what? Why did you come here then? That would be my question. Fucking white people are crazy.
I asked my dad this. Why did we come here?
Yeah.
He named a couple of reasons. First off was economic opportunity was the big one.
Sure, makes sense.
In Punjab, India at the time, there were rules against accumulating a certain amount of land, just as a peasant farmer. So you could have something like 18 acres, and then you had to start splitting that between your heirs, right? So it's like a family could have this much, and then they gotta keep splitting it. And once you start splitting it, it's hard to earn money on that to buy more, for subsequent generations. So that was one reason. Other reason was corruption, and then also just sort of like sectarian violence and backbiting between ethnicities and religions, and not necessarily between the people, but between people on top, inflaming those fights. And the idea was that in Canada, that doesn't really go on as much, which I think has been the fucking truth. And and what I'm worried right now is sort of what we're on, what this program that we're on right now, talking about race, identity all the time, is sort of fanning those flames.
Well, yeah. I mean, that it can certainly go sideways on you. But again, this conversation has been a long time coming for some people, especially if you're Indigenous here in Canada. For sure, it's a conversation that needs to happen, and the Truth and Reconciliation report, for a reason, all these things had to be done.
Mm-hmm.
But I do this, and I'm going way off track here, but going back to your dad saying
mm-hmm.
this is why we came from India to Canada. Now, is there any truth to, because what I heard, and now you just got me talking conspiracy mm-hmm. theories mm-hmm. all the time, that Monsanto sold all these modified, genetically engineered seeds to Indian farmers and didn't tell them that, by the way, it's not going to be like the seeds you had before where you just gather them up and replant them. You get to buy seeds from us every time. And a lot of people went bankrupt, and there was a lot of suicides.
That is an ongoing thing, not just in India, but I think throughout the world. Monsanto, lots of companies like that, Pioneer Hybrid, they take different strains of plants from different countries. They monkey it around a little bit, modify it so that they can so they can copyright it, patent it, and then they resell it back to the farmers.
And even the people who didn't buy seeds are kind of screwed because it gets blown into the fields of neighboring farmers, and then their crops are pretty much taken over.
Yeah, no, I mean when my that I don't think that was a huge concern in the late '60s and early '70s. That was when Punjab and India had just sort of undergone the Green Revolution. It was one of the most productive farming areas in the world. It was the granary, and it still is the granary of India. The living standard in Punjab, India was. They left the country and their living standard was still miles above what the rest of the country was like. Like, people in Punjab weren't hungry at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they were pretty well off. But even then, they thought that life would be better here in Canada than what they had to look forward to there.
And do you see, not that the program is going to be all about India today, but
I am wearing this hat for a reason.
But I am curious. I'm curious as to since independence, have we seen, like really, really positive, lasting change in India with self-government?
That's not like a podcast. That's like fucking multiple fucking PhD.
No, but in your opinion, I mean,
I'd say yeah. I mean, at its foundation, the right to self-government and not to have the fucking coffers and the resources of your fucking country pilfered
on a regular basis.
On a regular, just as a matter of fact, like that's a good thing. But India's fucked. Like, India is just a fucked country. like I've been getting out of the conspiracy world a little bit and just reading up a little bit on history of Punjab recently, and it is convoluted. The names, the different factions fighting, it's hard to make sense of, and it's the same as anywhere you go. You know what I mean? People are dirty. People are out for themselves, and people want to enrich themselves to the detriment of others, and that seems to be a common story. But overall, I would say people are fairly satisfied that they're no longer ruled by the British.
Well, anybody would be. I wish we could say the same here in Canada. But we still.
All hail.
We
our
still
lizard, all hail our lizard queen.
Yeah, exactly. We have the queen on our money still.
I like that.
Yeah, do you?
It feels classy.
Yeah, I'm not too crazy about it.
Okay, so Glenn, we've digressed. Why am I wearing this hat? What are we going to talk about today?
We are going to talk about QAnon.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, and QAnon, I didn't know what you were talking about.
Where we go one, we go all.
Yes.
If you hear that somewhere, if somebody says that, they're fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or also, if you see like the big Q.
Yeah.
So Trump was not Trump. Biden. Yeah, Biden was photographed because he was in Florida, I guess, campaigning, and he was talking to members of the Broward County Sheriff's SWAT team.
Mhm.
And there's two guys there in they got the Kevlar on and everything, all the SWAT regalia. And but one of the sheriffs who was talking to Biden, who's laughing, has on his vest has a Q, and then beside it he's got another thing which is a sickle and something else. But anyways, he got pulled up on this after this photograph was made to press, right? Like he got reprimanded by the SWAT team and Broward County Sheriff's Office because these are like not standard issue things that you should be wearing. So it is really like.
So what have you found out since you opened the Q box? What were you surprised by? Like maybe people here in Canada, like we don't really hear about this too much.
Well, we don't hear about it, but there's a lot of people from Canada who espouse these ideas and who visit this site, which I think it started on 8chan.
4chan.
Started on 4chan. Moved
2017.
Okay. Do I even need my notes?
No, what have you learned? Tell us about.
Well, first
what
of
are
all,
the basics?
The basics are that they basically believe that there is the deep state in government is out to overthrow, impeach, a coup d'etat of Donald Trump. That is Donald Trump's enemy is the deep state. That Donald Trump is not a fucking idiot. So I can't even say that.
He's actually a fucking genius.
Yeah, he's a genius, and
benevolent.
And everything that goes wrong is the fault of the deep state actors who are out to get Donald Trump. And they stole their name, QAnon. So Q, and they're trying to figure out if it was like one guy, right? They stole Anon from Anonymous.
Anonymous, yeah.
Who also started on the same.
I'm wondering if the Q came from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yes, the Q came from. That's exactly where it came from.
Q was an omnipotent
the continuum.
being.
Yeah.
So, but I just want to get one layer below that. This is like a cosmology, right?
Yeah.
So
it's
like a worldview.
This is like religious.
So this deep state that Trump is battling with actually consists of Satanists.
Yeah.
Satanist pedophiles.
So, which led me to also the 09A. Do you know who they are?
No, who's 09A?
Okay, well, we just had a member of the American military, the Army, the U.S. Army, who got busted for, basically treason, right? So he was trying to set up his own. He'd been deployed once to, I think, Afghanistan or Iraq, and he was back home, and then he found out he was being deployed again. So he leaked information about his platoon's movements and where they were going to be deployed in order for Muslim extremists to ambush them. And this all ties in to like the who's the guys you challenged to a fist fight? The Boogaloo Boys.
Okay.
and QAnon, and also these other guys, the Order of the Nine Angles, and they are a like Hitler worshipping satanic like witchcraft cult from England, who also have followers in Canada and the United States. So he got hooked up with them, but he got hooked up with them through like these QAnon guys.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like, and I think this goes back to sort of, if you ever heard of David Icke.
Yeah.
The famous, he used to be a British footballer. That's called soccer here in North America.
Yes.
But he sort of went into this. I think his sort of idea is the genesis for all of this, that at the upper levels of society, there's a cabal of people running the show who are barely human, and for him, they're actually lizard entities.
Yes.
I think that this
lizard people.
And as we've gone down, we've let go of the lizard people, but they're still satanic, evil, and what's the worst thing you can do? Fuck kids. So they're pedophiles, right?
Yeah, and I think...
And the seeds of this happened, I mean, they started before QAnon came along with the whole fucking Pizzagate.
Yeah,
scandal.
Pizzagate, where the guy actually went... So on 8chan, somebody said that Hillary Clinton, of course, who at the time was running against Donald Trump...
And John Podesta.
Were part of an international pedophile ring that this part I didn't get, was running out of a pizza restaurant.
Yeah.
And a guy actually showed up with an automatic rifle to shoot the place up. He didn't, they bust him. But that's some crazy shit.
And that's the interesting thing about this particular conspiracy, is that people are willing to commit violence on the basis of it, and it's happened a couple times.
But doesn't it...
At crazy levels.
Oh, yeah, I know. But at the end of the day, is it really not more about feeling powerless and wishful thinking? Wouldn't it just be great to be able to explain everything away by this secret fucking alliance of the ultra powerful, rich, the Rothschilds, all this kind of shit.
I think, yeah, that would be a fantastic story. It would be like we can wrap it up in a nice, neat.
We're good to go.
But then it's like things don't help the story. Then the fucking Jeffrey Epstein story hits the scene, and that's
exactly
just fuel to the QAnon fire, because there's some definite weirdness there involving pedophilia in the upper echelons of society. And these QBs just fucking grabbed onto that like there's no fucking tomorrow.
And then that brings me to my next point, which
one thing we missed, though, about just giving a sense of the basic Q cosmology. So it's like Trump is in government right now to expose this conspiracy.
That's right, to drain the swamp.
And to imprison this cabal of Satanist pedophiles. So he, along with quote-unquote Q, whoever he is, and a couple other white hats, which are like good people with a security agency, are working to drain the swamp, undermine the deep state, and expose this. So then they believe that they have this story about there's thousands of sealed indictments waiting to be unleashed to fucking arrest everyone in fucking Hollywood. Tom Hanks is a pedophile. Fucking, if you're in Hollywood, you're a pedophile. It's like everyone's a fucking pedophile.
Yeah, because Tom Hanks and his wife weren't actually sick with COVID in Australia. They'd been arrested as part of this pedophile ring. And they didn't explain how they're back.
I like a good conspiracy, but this is the dregs.
But
this is the dregs.
I don't know, but here's the thing. So, yeah, it's completely out there. But as with like every myth, they're all based on some sort of truth. So when stuff like Epstein happens, we got to go, okay, maybe this part of it is for real. Not the way they're describing it, and not to the extent.
But that there are people within the society who are rich and powerful that to get their rocks off in weird fucking ways, and they think that they have the right to do so.
Yes, and they do it, and they get away with it, and people die because of it.
and they're protected from any consequences.
And we know, we've already seen it with so many, rich and powerful people, that they just walk away from shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and wasn't who was it in the royal family who was implicated with Epstein?
Prince Andrew.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now, there's lots of people coming forward going, oh yeah, we all knew that.
Yeah.
What, are you kidding me? That's old news.
Mm-hmm.
But the royal family being the royal family is, that never happened. Yeah. Just like nothing bad that had anything to do with us happened to Diana.
Mm-hmm. But we digress.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And so now, as crazy as things are in the American government, and Donald Trump, who is just, he's just grasping at straws because he knows that the election is coming up in 2020. But having said that, Republicans are winning in some of the, not the primaries, but
there was one primary, the primary for the Oregon Senate.
Yes.
Is and she's not going to win. Like
no.
Republican governor, it's not going to happen. But nevertheless, she espouses QAnon beliefs.
Joe Ray Perkins, an insurance agent and avowed QAnon believer, handily won the contest to take on Senator Jeff Merkley, Democrat, in the general election. Perkins, who has launched unsuccessful Senate and House bids in the past, beat her nearest Republican primary opponent by nearly 20 percentage points on Tuesday.
And all she had to do was believe in QAnon.
To celebrate, Perkins tweeted a video acknowledging the support she had received from QAnon believers. The victory speech included references to QAnon's slogan, "Where we go one, we go all." QAnon followers who call themselves Anons, and Q, the anonymous person or group whose clues make up the basis of QAnon. "I stand with President Trump. I stand with Q and the team," Perkins said, holding up a sign with QAnon slogan on it. "Thank you, Anons. Thank you, Patriots." Here, to me, herein lies the danger, is with that amount of people, just like with Trump, right? Eligible to vote. And all it takes, even if this lady doesn't believe in it, she's like, yeah, Q. The Q sent me. She knows.
I think she fucking.
Oh, she does believe in it. But what I'm saying is, that's like a big voter base, right?
I mean, it's not as huge as you think because it's a Republican primary.
No.
In a Democratic state, but it's enough people that maybe we should have some sort of. I mean, within the states at least, they should consider some sort of mental fitness or competency test to fucking vote.
Yeah, you think? So Perkins, thank you Anons, thank you Patriots. That was on her video. Mm-hmm. Perkins deleted the video on Wednesday afternoon amid press coverage of her primary win. She didn't respond to a request for comment. A believer in a conspiracy theory the FBI classifies as a possible domestic terrorist threat is in a prime position to soon be elected to Congress after coming in first in a Republican primary in Georgia on Tuesday. And then we have...
That's Marjorie
Taylor Greene, yeah.
And she's going to win. Like, she's going to be in Congress.
That's just fucking scary. She's frequently posted messages about the bizarre pro-Trump conspiracy theory on social media. Handily leads the primary field of Republicans in Georgia's heavily Republican 14th district. Greene, who beat her closest opponent by more than 20 percentage points, will head to an August runoff after receiving 41% of the vote. Outspoken supporter of QAnon, conspiracy theory based on a series of blah, blah, blah. Holy crap. They believe Donald Trump is engaged in a shadowy war against a cabal of global elites, including the Democratic Party, and will soon arrest or even execute top Democrats, an event known as the Storm.
And Republicans.
Yes.
Like the Bushes are in on it. And Q, quote unquote Q, is this someone within the government or intelligence apparatus who sends out post-cryptic remarks on this board. It was 4chan. I think it's 8kun now.
Yeah.
Where they're posting it. And there is a fucking cottage industry This is a grift. This is a fucking. There is an industry of people making money off fucking QAnon conferences. There's a fucking QAnon fucking church. There's people making money on Instagram with QAnon. It's absolutely insane. I'm into fucking aliens, right? So I'm into aliens. There was a guy in Alien World named Jordan Sather, and he's a piece of shit. And he's big on this like fucking secret space program nonsense. There was another guy named Corey Good out there claiming that like the fucking government has a secret space program and they sent me to fucking Mars, but what they did is they actually sent me back in time to fucking Mars, and then I came back, and then like just insane shit, the shit that fucking people buy up because they're fucking bored, and because like I said fucking 2 shows ago, they spend way too much fucking time on the internet. And when that grift dried up, because it was total fucking bullshit, there's no program that sends people back in time in space to fucking spite aliens. He moved into the fucking QAnon realm.
Right, and my question to you is, how do we make money from QAnon? Everybody else is.
Now here's the thing. There's interesting. Who is Q?
Oh yeah.
Right, like who's doing this? Is it someone having fun?
Well,
because if it's someone having fun, they've been fairly consistent now for 3 years. For 3 years.
Well,
one theory I've heard is it's Roger Stone.
But he's in jail.
But he's the one managing this program.
No, I don't think. I go with.
He's not in jail anymore. He's not in jail right now.
He's not.
No.
What do you mean?
Roger Stone's out.
Already?
Yeah.
What?
He's been doing the rounds, doing interviews.
That
and shit like that.
weaselly piece of shit, good for nothing, poor excuse for a human being.
Because
who has fucking Richard Nixon tattooed on your back? Who does that?
That is fucking disgusting.
Oh, God. He really is.
He's a dirty player. Like, he's a really, really dirty player. And this seems to be in that sort of... I'm just saying. Because Trump doesn't disavow the Q conspiracy. In fact, he's constantly winking to it.
Well,
and retweeting things.
Of course he is.
But I don't think he believes it, but I think it's just...
It's a voter base.
It's a voter grab, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is I go with the theory that it's several people, right? Not just one.
But the question is it organized from a higher level?
Yes. Yeah, I think.
Or as they call in the biz, is it an op?
I think it would have to be organized because anything that weird and out there and unpredictable would just go off the rails immediately because there's so many crazy people out there who want to, get their 2 cents in. So I definitely think it's organized for sure.
So people are fucking, and this conspiracy inflames fucking passion in its devotees. I mean, for one example here, we have Anthony Comello of Staten Island.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times when you look at these cases, the Q conspiracy intersects with mental health issues and delusional disorders.
Religion and crazy people, man.
There's nothing wrong with religion. But all religion starts as a crazy cult. So for every religion we have 1,000 failed startups.
That's true.
But this guy in Staten Island murdered a Gambino family crime underboss.
That's right.
Frank Cali. Yeah. Because he believed that he was part of the fucking Q conspiracy.
That's right. I read that and I'm like, they must have just gone, oh, hey, it was this crazy fucker coming up the driveway.
Like, no fucks given.
Yeah.
No
Because they wouldn't have expected that because usually guys who are connected know if they're being green lighted, right?
Yeah.
If there's a price on their head, right?
There was another woman.
Yeah, that was some crazy shit. I read about that.
Jessica Prim, who was found in New York with a bunch of knives, and she was grabbed by the police, and she seemed to be in an acute mental health crisis, and she was reportedly insinuating that she was there to kill Joe Biden.
Right.
Because of this conspiracy. Like, this is crazy shit.
Yeah, but again, we're living in a time that is really unprecedented. You saw, like, we have, we moved beyond what was going on with the civil rights movement in the 60s, right? And on the one hand, you can say, holy crap, not much has changed, but a great deal changed because of that movement. And just now, things really are, like, they're really at a tipping point, like big style. So shit like this, it's fertile ground, right?
This is like the most hyper form of capitalism that I've ever heard of, seen in my life, where it's like every single worldview and cosmology is on the fucking open market, and it's for fucking sale. And it's like it's like a boutique of fucking craziness.
Yes, and there's been a lot, when they talk about art imitating life, and now what we've got a lot of life imitating art. So I remember, the first time I saw Running Man, right, the film with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I was like, oh fuck, could you imagine? But even before that, there was another film with James Caan called Rollerball, right? And these were like post-apocalyptic films that dealt with, this is what people are going to be doing for entertainment in the future. Not far off. Like, we have arrived. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, a lot of stuff is happening right now that, 20 years ago, you would have gone, no way, that's not possible. We could never sink that low.
Yeah, I mean, like, whatever happened to just fucking the government has fucking captured UFOs and is back engineering the technology? Can't we just go back to those days?
Well, no. And I think, too, because of the internet, because of technology, and tablets and smartphones being what they are at this point in technology, people are just used to having whatever the hell they want when they want it. Period. And for some people with a lot of money, like unimaginable sums of money to you and I, yeah, I'm sure there's not a lot of barriers, right? When you're used to picking up a device and going, yeah, I need to, oh my, fuck the Wi-Fi. And people get really pissed because they can't get it in like 12 seconds. So, yeah, I could see really how that lends itself to some incredibly, debauched, depraved, and predatory behavior, because not a lot is taboo anymore.
Yeah, and I think
and the things that are taboo, you just want to. It's like, oh, fuck, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
When this is going on over here, this is what you guys are bitching about over there.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think a lot of this has to do with the pull towards a cult. You know what I mean? It's like the sense of meaning that it offers, being part of a community, being in on a secret that no one else is fucking aware of, raging against the machine. Like, these are all things that are fairly appealing to people who are in a spot of loneliness. Like, I know that when I've been fucking, anytime I fall into a conspiracy hole is when I'm spending too much time in this fucking room alone by myself, and I'm not really engaged with other people for whatever reason, be it my fucking family or school. It's like, those are the times where I'm just like, I feel the pull of the crazy.
Yes, that is very true. But this one really did.
This one's bullshit. If you believe in QAnon, you're a fucking idiot. Like,
no,
this is not true. This is patently fucking not
No, we
true.
know that. Absolutely. But what I'm saying is, when you put me onto this and I started reading about it, it was like so addictive.
Yeah.
I just kept going, no, it can't get weirder. And then turn the page, next paragraph, it gets weirder.
And when this conspiracy starts to creep into, we're actually gonna have people in the halls of power that believe in
well, and we just talked about that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a member of Congress who is a QAnon believer. Crazy shit.
So kids, like, don't do QAnon. Like, don't do QAnon.
And don't be like, you may think these are people you want to look up to, like the the celebrities and all that, but kids also don't do Sudafed
No,
in ridiculous amounts.
don't do it.
Because
don't do it more than once. That was my mistake.
Because look what your president has turned.
And if you believe in Q, that's not how you're going to make America great again. You're going to make America great again by looting. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I am very excited because so
why are you laughing, Glenn? What's so
I'm
funny?
laughing because Charlize Theron, the actress.
You just have a hate on for Steven Seagal.
No, it's
because he's better Japanese. He's more Japanese than you. He's the Aikido master.
So anyway, she was on Howard Stern, and she was promoting her new film, which is an action film. And her and Howard were talking about, like, how do you do that? How do you train for that? And one of the things she said, I do spend a lot of time when I'm not actually training with my trainer on YouTube. And she goes, and every time I do, because I like to watch a lot of movie fight scenes to see how it's done. But Steven Seagal always comes up, and basically what she said is, he's just an old fat piece of shit, and she could beat him up. And I laughed until like my stomach hurt.
So did you challenge him to a fight? She's stealing a page from my book.
She didn't need to, right? And the reason it's funny is because he has really become such a joke. I mean, here was a guy that just like skyrocketed to stardom in the 80s.
With a sick ponytail.
Yeah. There's just so much wrong with almost all of it.
It's like the proto man bun. Like, he invented man bun.
Yeah. And it's funny because when you look at his very first film, which I think is Above the Law, you can see, right?
Yeah.
That he's got like this stringy ass ponytail and receding fucking hair. He's going bald, but you see him today, full head of hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's been wearing wigs and shit forever. But the reason people like to rag on Seagal is because he's such a dick. If he wasn't such an asshole, like there are some people that are pathetic funny, right? Whereas he's pathetic and still a jerk.
I think he's trolling us. Actually, no. That's probably
no. He's not.
He's not trolling us. He believes in himself totally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So apparently he was. There's so many Steven Seagal stories. I don't know where to start. Apparently he was the only guest host of Saturday Night Live where they ever considered at the last minute going with just a cast show. What? No host, because he was so fucking bad. One of the people on Saturday Night Live at the time, Tim Meadows, said the biggest problem with Steven Seagal was that he would complain about the jokes he didn't get. So it was like, you can't explain something to somebody in German if they don't speak German. He just wasn't funny. And he was very critical of the cast and writing staff. He didn't realize that you can't tell somebody that they're stupid on Wednesday and expect them to continue writing for you on Saturday. So they almost axed him at the very last minute. And then I'm sure you've heard this story about John Leguizamo, the actor.
Leguizamo, yeah.
Yeah.
Hispanic dude, comedian.
Yeah. He's a very funny guy. Been in a ton of movies, but he was in Executive Decision.
He used to have a funny sketch comedy show, too, that was like Spanish. It was called House of Buggin'. It was a funny show.
Oh, you can? I didn't know that. I'm going to look for that. Executive Decision in 1996, and that also Executive Decision had Kurt Russell played the president, and Steven Seagal.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Also saw a UFO, but anyways.
Okay, well, thanks for bringing that up. So yeah, Seagal played like the head of the special ops team, and Leguizamo was a part of that team. So what he tells a story, right? He says He was supposed to be the master sergeant, and I was right underneath him, his boy. We came to the first day of rehearsals, and he goes, "I'm in command." And we all laughed.
That's sweet.
I thought he was kidding. Who talks like that? And then he comes at me, and
I'm in command.
He comes at me and elbows me against a brick wall and knocks all the air out of me. And I'm like, why?
Well, he's just exerting dominance.
Yeah.
He's an alpha.
I wanted to say how big and fat he is and how he runs like a girl, but I couldn't because I didn't have enough air.
He does run like
he
a
does.
fuck. He
have you
flaps
seen
his
that?
hands around in a very, very strange
he does
way.
that shit,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It's very funny. Leguizamo continues to fire away at Seagal in his comedy routines, and supposedly Seagal can't wait to kick his butt. He's been sued countless times for sexual harassment. But let's talk about going back to the original story with Charlize Theron, who says, yeah, he couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag. I'd kick his ass. And that is, so here's the deal with his martial arts. He does have a legit first dan, or however many dans he has, in Aikido, right? And he earned that in Japan. So that part is true.
But
what he talks about...
Does doing Aikido mean you can actually fight?
No.
No. Okay.
But I'm not saying, I'm not disparaging. It's one of the Japanese Budo martial arts, and it was designed. It was O Sensei, right? Maria Ueshiba was the guy who basically created the art out of Daido-ryu Aikijujutsu. But he never designed it as a fighting art. It was purely defensive. But he was also a very spiritual guy, and he believed heavily in ki, the energy.
Yeah.
And so when people practice, Aikido practitioners are compliant. So in other words, when the techniques are applied, the other person that you're applying them to complies.
Is a willing participant.
And kind of throws themselves through the air. And so it's not, but it was never designed, right? I mean, yes, there are certainly some techniques from Daido-ryu Aikijujutsu that are legit.
Digit manipulation, breaking people's fingers, shit like that, yeah.
But
twisting your elbow or...
But good luck getting close enough to somebody to do that. So anyways...
But Anderson Silva, former middleweight champion of UFC, he was also fucking busted for juicing a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Remember when he... I don't know if that was a troll, but he was like, I'm training with Steven Seagal right now. And then Lyoto Machida, when he knocked out fucking Randy Couture in Toronto at the UFC, kicked him in the face. I believe he credited Steven Seagal for that front kick to the face. I don't know if these guys were just having fun or what.
Well, Machida was having fun. Silva did say that, but he has since distanced himself from having anything to do with Seagal, and he took that back. He says he didn't teach me shit.
I mean...
So Seagal,
they were hyping the pay-per-view. It was just to get more. Because,
absolutely. But Seagal himself couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag. And you look at him now. First of all, he looked impressive in those early films, but he's a big guy, right? He's like 6'5" or some shit. So most of what he could probably do to you is just by his size. But now he's just big and fat, right? And he's just a slob. So that's as far as his fighting skills go. That's kind of a load of crap.
Are you going to challenge him to a fight? That could be a thing.
I wouldn't.
No.
Why would I even waste? Yeah, sure, I'd kick his ass. What, are you kidding me?
Fuck you, Steven Seagal.
Yes.
You're a piece of shit. And no man should wear a ponytail.
That's right.
This is a non-ponytail podcast.
Anyways, there is the judo Jean LaBelle story.
Oh yeah.
where they were both on the same set.
Was Gene LaBelle a pro wrestler?
Well, before that, he was a judo guy.
And
he was a pro wrestler.
And he can do catch wrestling as well, which is submission
catch
wrestling, kind of like
jujitsu.
Yeah.
He's an amazing athlete. Yeah. And quite a character, well-known character, and apparently a really, really nice man. Mm-hmm. And anyways, I'm sure everybody's heard the story, right? But it's basically that Seagal said, "Oh yeah, I have a technique that like nobody can put a rear naked choke on me." Mm-hmm. Now, if you've ever had a rear naked choke applied to you and almost passed out, which I have, it's unique. There's nothing you can do. Yeah. You're fucked.
I mean, Jagmeet Singh wishes he could put me in a rear naked choke, but
here we go.
Okay.
Anyways, so he said this to Judo Gene, and a lot of the people who were around Gene LaBelle at the time went, "Come on, just show him." And so, yeah, I'll bite. And so he put it on him, and of course...
and at this point, Gene LaBelle was an old man.
Yeah, he wasn't a young guy.
No.
And so Seagal passed out, and then the story is that he shit himself as well, which I find pretty funny. But here's some of the better stories. Mm-hmm. So he had an actual TV series called Steven Seagal.
Even just 3 seconds.
And then, of course, there was, do you remember this? Steven Seagal, Lawman. That was an A&E series where he was a sheriff's deputy.
Mm-hmm. Like a real
lawman,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which he, as it turns out, he wasn't. But he claimed
maybe that could solve problems with racist police. We just need more
Seagal. Yeah, that would help. Yeah. Holy crap! He claimed that he's a real-life deputy with the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office in Louisiana, a position he's held for close to 2 decades. However, Peace Officer Standards and Training Organization, which accredits police officers in the States, had no record of Seagal being certified. Apparently, he was given an honorary, reserve deputy sheriff thing, but it was honorary.
Score 1 for the RCMP. I'm fairly sure they would never deputize
Steven Seagal.
I don't even think they can deputize people.
No, they can't.
No.
So, or maybe they can. I don't even know. I'm talking out my ass at this point. So during one arrest, Steve bravely drove. Did you see this episode?
I can safely say I was busy watching Ancient Aliens, so I missed it.
Steve bravely drove a SWAT tank through the front wall of a notorious cockfighting master criminal Jesus Lavera's compound. Actually, no, Lavera was just a guy with a bunch of chickens, right?
That is sick.
Lavera's alleged crime was keeping 115 chickens on his property to use in illegal fights. Mm-hmm. And so, someone forgot the first rule of Chicken Fight Club and squawk to Seagal.
That's fucking terrible. That's terrible, Glenn.
I can't take credit for that. And Seagal also claims to be like an animal rights vegan fucking. During that raid,
how does he get so fat if he's a fucking
I know.
vegan?
Was he eat fucking whole trees? Mm-hmm. During the raid, Lavera's puppy was killed, and all 115 chickens were euthanized. Oh my God!
I would pay money to have Steven Seagal deputized in Vancouver.
You know what? I realize there's so many Steven Seagal stories. I think I'm gonna have to save the 2 Michaels and China and the whole spy thing for our next show.
Yeah, that could be something that's something worth exploring. Right.
Properly because this is too much fun.
Yeah.
The other one is he claimed to be either an actual CIA operative or, he basically trained the CIA.
Mm-hmm. Like he trained Anderson Silva.
Yes, he trained Anderson Silva. Mm-hmm. So, in an interview with Spy, this guy Goldman says he had long known that Seagal tends to tell, and Goldman is that is an actual special ops guy, a real guy. Says he had long known that Seagal tends to tell grandiose tales about himself. Late in 1988, a former soldier of fortune and treasure hunter named Randy Widener invited Seagal, Goldman, and another man to hunt for treasure off the coast of Barbados. At the time, Seagal had been telling Goldman that he had been a U.S. Navy SEAL. Evidently, this was one frogman who did not take well to water. As Goldman recalls, Randy was driving a Zodiac in circles while Stephen and I carried the gear out to him. The surf was unbelievable, really tough. He, Seagal, started screaming and panicking and was sure he was going to die and all that crap. Goldman says Seagal had to be helped onto the vessel. Wildner had to pull Seagal by his hair. I pushed his ass onto the boat with my shoulder. Later that evening, Goldman says he realized that Seagal could not read a compass or map. Seagal describes himself as autistic with numbers. With that, Goldman says he totally dismissed the notion that Seagal had ever been involved in any covert operation.
Now, you have to respect the ball. Like, there's always that kid back in school who made fucking outlandish claims. But to see it out, to go out into the field with real special operatives where you are going to be fucking exposed, and you know you're going to be fucking exposed.
Why would you do that?
The balls or the fucking level of delusion?
The level of delusion.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy that is just so narcissistic, right?
But he's rich. He's
Well,
marketed himself.
Yeah. He's another Trump.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he markets himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he does,
mm-hmm.
right? He just like Trump said, I'm the greatest businessman there is,
mm-hmm.
ever,
Mm-hmm.
right? No, you're a fucking horrible businessman. You bankrupted a casino, but you keep selling your name to anyone who will buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Seagal is the same. So Seagal is pals with Putin, Vladimir Putin.
A guy who could probably legitimately kick his ass.
Yes, because Putin is a psychopath and a dictator, but he is a legit black belt in judo, and he's quite good. I saw some video not that long ago, and because Putin's not a young man, out there, you know.
But he's a sportsman.
Yeah, but I watched him. He's still in pretty good shape.
Yeah,
and his judo is legit. So
not just judo, sambo too, which is more
and sambo
combat judo with strikes as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they're pals, and Putin gave him a Russian passport.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how many women have sued him for sexual assault
mm-hmm.
and harassment. There was another guy who tells a story about being asked. He's a writer,
mm-hmm.
and he was being asked to perhaps collaborate, you know, on a Steven Seagal script, and so they took him into the trailer, and this trailer was like apparently massive. It had
mm-hmm.
like rooms, and Seagal was in the back, and he made him wait, and when he finally came out, he was like, Seagal apparently was almost crying.
Mm-hmm.
And the writer said, you know, what's wrong? And he goes, I've just read the most moving script ever written. And the guy said, really, who wrote it? He goes, me. This is the kind of fucking shit that comes out of this man's mouth.
I want to kick it with Steven Seagal.
Oh, he's such a jerk.
So what's
and the legitimacy of him. Also, like he talks about, I'm the first Caucasian to ever open a dojo in an Aikido dojo in Japan, mm-hmm. which was a load of crap. He married a Japanese woman. It was her father, so his father-in-law's dojo. Mm-hmm. He taught there. Mm-hmm. He didn't run it. His wife ran it. Mm-hmm. Like everything that comes out of the guy's mouth is like, either complete bullshit or based on fact. And that's where he said, oh, at the time, that's where I got to meet a lot of CIA guys.
Yeah.
And I trained them, and they introduced me to powerful people. And his wife is like, yeah, that's all bullshit. Like, I know I was there. Then he took, his wife had scrimped and saved a lot of money, and he took all that money to go to America to become a movie star. That was in 1980.
Which he did.
He did, but yeah, she was very faithful and waited for him. And in the meantime, he married 4 years later. He never went back, and 4 years later married somebody else before he had even divorced his wife in Japan. So he was also a bigamist.
Yes.
So yeah, the reason I love to rag on Seagal is like I'm a big martial arts fan, and there are some really legit fighters out there and people who are great athletes and train very hard, and some of them do films as well.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it just, I don't know, it pisses me off. It's like these guys, what do they call it? Like stolen valor. Like there's a guy who's an ex-Navy SEAL. All he does is hunt down these frauds, right? Who pretend to be decorated servicemen. He falls into that fucking category. I hate it. It pisses me off, and I really hope
he's a fraud and a self-aggrandizer.
There you go. Yeah. And has never, like, if it was me, if people were dissing me that badly, I'd be like, really? Okay, fine. Let's, fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get in the ring.
Yeah.
Let's see. And he's never done that. He's one of these, well, I can't because
my hands are
registered as kill you.
Weapons.
No, because you're a pussy and you would get your ass kicked. I would pay, how much money Dana White could make with the UFC if he ever got Steven Seagal into the cage and had somebody kick the living shit out of him.
But who would he
fucking
fight?
Gazillion.
Who would he fight though? A woman.
Oh yes, Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey. No, even Ronda Rousey, someone smaller.
Well, there was that other UFC fighter who
someone small and really unopposing, like maybe Roxanne Modafferi or something.
She was
like
from
that.
Brazil, and apparently because Brazil, Rio can be a tough city, and some guy tried to rob her with a fake gun, and she just apparently just like fucking put him in the hospital.
That would be.
It was awesome.
You want to really fucking up this Me Too movement?
You know who
that's you want to up this Me Too movement? We need to get a woman to kick Steven Seagal.
Yes, and I know who.
Who?
I know exactly who. This would be the biggest pay-per-view ever in the history of the world. Hillary Clinton.
Oh, fuck.
And she could fucking do it.
No.
She could kick his ass.
Fuck Hillary.
That would be awesome.
No, fuck
Come
Hillary.
on, man.
No.
I'm
down with it. We can get a woman to fight Steven Seagal, but it can't be Hillary Clinton.
Why not?
You're gonna split the audience.
Okay.
We're gonna split the audience.
Charlize Theron.
Sure. Charlize Theron.
She could kick. She was the one who started this whole thing.
That's natural. That would work.
She would kick his
What's
ass.
the theme of this podcast today? The world is full of bullshit and grifters, and you need to be careful about your internet consumption.
Yeah, except for us. Don't be careful about that. Listen to us, this podcast, Wallace Hartley Presents, as often as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Tell your friends about it. If you're watching us right now on YouTube, head down there and click the subscribe button. Also, please leave comments. That would be awesome.
Even derogatory ones. And remember, this is the only podcast by dads for dads.
Yeah, the setting on our YouTube channel is actually allows all comments. Because there's one that says you can hold comments for review.
No, that's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit.
So you can watch us on Wallace Hartley Presents YouTube channel. You can listen to us at your leisure, in your headphones, in your buds, in your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, shit, whatever, on Spotify and on Podbean.
And since we are technologically inept dads, we don't necessarily know. We will be on other places soon.
Yes, we'll be on iTunes and Google Play and a couple others. as soon as somebody fucking figures out how to do it.
Who?
Not saying it's me, but
is it you?
Yeah.
This is a whatever, man. We're learning. This is a DIY podcast.
Yes,
we make
it
all
is.
the music ourselves. We fucking.
You do a fantastic job with that.
I do not know how to make music.
Well,
You may.
I beg to differ.
Anyone who's listening to this may be aware of that by now. We have a lot of weird music.
Yeah. But it's good. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening. Please tell your friends. Please support us. Please subscribe.
Yeah.
We want to keep doing this. It's fun.
Because we're going to be unemployable by the time this is.
Oh, yeah. Nobody's going to fucking... Well, I'm employed now, but they'll probably fire me once this gets out.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by. You guys are awesome. And remember...
Don't be a dick.